Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. Before I get this lesson started, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahawashis, Bahashem, Rakakodash, and double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone, and a shalom to the whole elect, the 144,000, taking this truth to the four corners of the earth, bidding the elect spirits of Yasharallah to the marriage supper of the Lamb, who is Yahawashis. This is your brother Radah out of the GMS camp. I got to get this in. I got the Spirit is showing me some stuff with Yahawashai being the elect cornerstone laid in Zion, which makes him, he's the rock, which is our foundation, right? Literally everything stands on him. Just like it talks about the 12 foundations, the 12 different glistering stones of the foundations of the third temple. Okay, it lists different stones that are mentioned on the high priest's robe, but the number 12 is what? It's for each tribe of Israel. It's also the measurement, 12 by 12, 144,000 cubits of the measurements. Right? It goes into the spiritual, the geographical, the heritage, the racial, the national measurements, the seed line, the bloodline, the seed line measurements, so to speak, if you would, because it's a nation. It's not just anybody. The 12 gates identifies the 12 tribes, the 12 apostles. All 12 apostles are the apostles of Yahawashai. Yahawashai personally taught them, personally sent them out. It's all encoded, connected to Yahawashai. You are the branch, I am the vine. Apart from me, you can do nothing. So, Yahawashai being the first and the last, talking about he was Adam, because he literally was Adam, right? He was given a commandment and a prophecy to what? To subdue the earth and be fruitful and multiply. And then there's a punishment, because there is a temporary failure that was also written into the prophecy, where Adam and Eve, he listened to the voice of his wife. They ate the tree, which is just the philosophies of the wicked, the serpent, a type and shadow of Esau, Cain, and then Cain coming back as Edom, and that nation being in rulership, that wicked tree, that harlot, that false way, that adulterous woman, the punishment, one of the chastisements. One of the curses, because the Most High is a God of balance, he punished his son with what? The sweat of thy brow. Sweat. What is sweat? Sweat is salt. Just like blood is salt, just like tears are salt. We are called the salt of the earth. Salt is also a preservative, and it is also a flavor enhancer. It also means many other things, colorful, dancing, just a better spice, right? So Yahawashai, by the sweat of his brow, as Adam would work to till the ground. What is the ground? That is where men were created from. The Most High created Adam from the dust of the earth, right? Are we also not somewhere in the precepts called the planting of the Lord? I am not attempting to, this is a lesson, but this is a recording of the downloads that have come into me this morning. With all these precepts jumping off, I've been driving around taking photos of the precepts, and then the Spirit just said, stop what you are doing and capture this in digital epistle. I'll give you the rest. Trust me, you're going to lose this. And he wasn't threatening me. He was saying very gently, look, man, by the end of the day, you're going to forget a lot of this stuff like you've done before in the past. Baba Kashaf, stop right now and get this on. And I was like, okay, I got you. So I said, yes, sir. I pulled over. I'm in the parking lot right now, because I got like 40 minutes before I get to my next stop. There's no point. Just get this done. So Yahawashai, right here, and even this morning when I was reading in 1 John, because one of the directives of my officer in my camp, the brother Aina, we're supposed to be reading 1 John and Isaiah. I didn't read it last week, and he put a reminder in the chat to read. And so I was going into 1 John. I'm not going to lie, I haven't read 1 John in a while. I still have a lot of, I don't believe it, but there's indoctrination still buried into me. You guys, we're not perfected yet. We're in the process of being sanctified. We are in a process of being made white by the word, being made clean, and making this is a daily reprieve. It's a daily discipline. We are consistently being washed off and refined in this truth. I am not a perfect Hebrew Israelite. And what I mean by that, I'm not saying I go out and sin every day. That's not what I'm saying either. I don't have my own heritage. I don't have the prophecies fully, perfectedly memorized, understood on all their levels of vastness of understanding. I don't have that. It's coming into me. I'm getting downloads daily. I'm listening to brothers and I'm getting more understanding daily. I'm standing next to brothers and with brothers and listening to them speak, and then I'm getting a precept that I've already known and I've already had a level of depth of understanding to it, and then all of a sudden another layer, another dimension of that precept is revealed, which then connects more precepts to it, and I'm just like, what? Oh my God, am I hearing it? Yes, you are. Yes. So I'm going into this. Look, let's just go. Let's start with this. 1 John. Let's get 1 John 3. Let me let's just read some of it. Look, I'm gonna try to remember to tie this what's read in John with Adam and then Yahawashis being the first and last, and the root of David, the root and offspring of David, and I want to pull David's Psalms 51. And I want to attempt to suggest that Psalms 51 is an outline. Yes, it was David crying out for Yahweh to restore him after the transgression that he committed against Bathsheba, against Uriah, firstly, and by taking Bathsheba. That he was guilty of bloodshed, of killing Uriah to hide his sin, but he was also guilty of adultery. And I want to suggest that the Spirit showed me this weekend that Psalm 51 is also, you can link that with the New Testament or the New Covenant. The creating in me a clean heart goes into the taking out the heart of stone and giving us a heart of flesh. You desire truth in my inward parts. The word desire in the blue letter is delight. And Yahawashis is called the truth. And I believe somewhere in Proverbs, when Yahawashis, as King Solomon is speaking, he's talking about the Father. I was daily his delight in the beginning when they first were together, before everything was created. They had a time together. He goes into wash me with hyssop, Psalms 51. Well, what is that a reference to? That's a reference to the Passover and Moses sprinkling the blood, receiving the commandment to sprinkle the blood on the doorposts of the firstborn unblemished ram or lamb, and then sprinkling the blood through hyssop. Hyssop is hyssop. It's a look at this. What does it look like? Hyssop. It's an herb, you guys. That's what it looks like. What are those colors? What do you see? The same colors like in a peacock. Those are royal colors. You got an emerald green rainbow around the throne of Yahweh, and then these blues and purples. That is what a king wears, right? Isn't? And blue is. We were just going into the. We were going in the camp last night. The Bishop Atazawan was wonderfully teaching on the Sabbath day. He did an excellent job. Again. Let me say it. We are constantly rehearsing the righteous acts, and we're going from glory to glory, you guys. Our understanding is ever increasing. Our wisdom is ever increasing. The glory of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahawashai. You guys, Yahweh, Wa Yahawashai, Wa the Alahayim, they should be more magnificent in your eyes on a consistent basis. As you learn more in this truth, you should be looking at all of the Alahayim. And again, we don't worship the Alahayim, but they are the hands. The right and left hands of Yahweh, bro. They're the eyes of Yahweh. It's like, wow, right? And your view, your perception of Yahawashai should be increasing. I'm not trying to say this like, oh, it should be increasing. Just like you are changing, right? But you're changing more and more into who you are in Hamashiach. You should be seeing Yahawashai more and more too. And you should be more staggered at the idea of Yahweh. Does that make sense? Look at this. This is purple and blue. Blue, we just learned yesterday in class, the border of blue, it goes into trust, many things that were said. And then we understand that purple is royal. That's for the kings, right? So that this royal trust, to have faith, to stay, to put your trust in what? The application of the blood of Yahawashai, which is only for the elect and the nation of Israel. It is not this blood that was given. I give you blood for the atonement. The blood is a person. What is the blood? It's the life of the creature. Well, if the blood of Yahawashai is given for the atonement of the elect, the blood is the person of Yahawashai. It's him. It's his genetic code. It's all of his mysteries of how Yahweh wrote him out, knitted him together, made him. He's the only creature that Yahweh created with his own hands. You got the height of this reality, the mystery of this reality, the intense intimacy, the hands-onness that Yahweh uniquely has with Yahawashai and Yahawashai only, and the unique, intense intimacy that Yahawashai has with Yahweh being the first person that he ever knew when he opened his eyes. You got to understand this. And this is the plant, this is the herb that was used to symbolically apply the symbolic blood of Yahawashai, right? So King David, let's jump now. Man, I'm all over the place. That's a lot of you guys. It's just a lot, man. And King David is what? He is the tabernacle of David, right? He wasn't allowed to build the temple because it was required of Yahawashai to do so, but Yahawashai was passed through the loins of King David as King Solomon at the order of through the instruction or the declaration of the prophet Nathan. And in the prophecy, what is the dark saying that is spoken? He will be my son, and I will be his God, and I will be his father. And if he transgress, I will bruise him, or I will chastise him with the stripes of the rod of men. But my mercy will not depart from him. Right? And we hear about the mercies of King David, but the mercy of Yahweh never departs from King Solomon, because King Solomon is Yahawashai in the reincarnation. Mercy would always, a bank account, an endless bank account of mercy would always be allotted to Yahawashai. We see that mercy in the garden with Adam and Eve, when Adam and Eve get garments of skin or coats made for them, but the serpent does not get a coat of skin made to cover his transgressions. And then we see it declared over him with King Solomon, because he was supposed to do these things. In the vast wisdom of Yahweh, the way the story was written is that Yahawashai would be the first Adam. In Adam we all die, or in Eve we all die, but through Adam came sin. I'm butchering it. Second Ezra is crying out, Adam, what have you done? Right? Because that heart is passed on to that mindset, created. We are created and subject to vanity. That's all passed down through us, but at the same time, just like that death or that sin nature was passed down through us through Yahawashai, who is the same person later, we also receive the divine nature. It's a ring, it's connected, right? He's the first and the last. And I apologize for stumbling. I am still learning this. Psalm 51, listen to this. Look, it's a Psalm of David when Nathan, and so Nathan the prophet is acknowledged who brought the discipline to the king, which is also, it shows you the repentant nature, the humble nature of King David, that he wasn't above being rebuked after he had gone into Bathsheba. Have mercy upon me, O God, according to thy loving kindness, according to the multitude of thy tender mercies, blot out my transgressions. Right here is the mention of Yahawashai. This is a dark saying. He is speaking this in the ancient world before Yahawashai shows up. But Yahawashai is really what hyssop and blood of application is talking about. Wash me thoroughly from mine iniquity, and cleanse me from my sin. For I acknowledge my transgressions, and my sin is ever before me. Against thee, thee only have I sinned, and done this evil in the sight, that thou mightest be justified when thou speakest, and be clear when thou judgest. What is this going into? The voice of the prophets. When the prophets speak to us as kings, right, we have to have the attitude of, against thee, thee only have I sinned, and done this evil in thy sight, that thou mightest be justified. This is the correct response to an apostle, to a prophet, to an officer, to a captain, to a soldier, any up-and-coming Hebrew Israelite man. When you are brought instruction by a prophet, when the Most High comes to rebuke you, you accept it because it's the truth, right? That thou mightest be justified when thou speakest, and be clear when thou judgest. Behold, I was shapen in iniquity. What is this going into? We were created subject to vanity. That means we were created on purpose with something fallen or failing in us, where we would go off in the place under the sun, the place of judgment, so that Yahweh could display his glory, so that he could display his wrath and his mercy, so he could display his love and his hatred, his choice and his rejection. Because if we didn't sin, if we were created perfectly on the earth, how would he be able to display his judgments? Because nobody would be transgressing, right? Okay, behold, thou desirest truth in the inward parts. Look at this. Desired. Thou desirest. Look at the word. To delight. He delights in the idea of this. Why? Because it's Yahawashai that he's going to place inside of us. Just like Yahawashai is the elect stone laid in Zion. Well, what is Zion? Zion is a place. It's the tabernacle, or the city of David. But what is it? What is it? It's the third temple, the New Jerusalem. Well, what is that? It's the glorified bodies of the elect men, and the laws, statutes, and commandments supernaturally infused into their DNA, into those glorified bodies, the everlasting tabernacles, right, into their minds, which is what? Ultimately it's Yahawashai. Because what is Yahawashai? Yahawashai is the Word of God. Revelation says that, right? So the new covenant that's purchased by the person or blood of Yahawashai is then the infusing of Yahawashai into the elect bodies, which are the living stones that make up the third temple, which is Mount Zion, which is the rulership. It's deep, man. So this prayer of you desire truth in the inward parts. Look, the inward parts. Who's the truth? Yahawashai. Inner region, hidden recesses, inward parts, and in the hidden places. That's all the mysteries of the DNA. We're going to be made not to go off. But this is what? Shut up, keep closed, to stop, secret. This is where Yahawashai is going to be brought into us. And we will no longer be made subject to vanity. That's what this is going into. And wisdom, look, you desire, purge, behold, verse 6, behold, thou desirest truth in the inward parts, and in the hidden part thou shalt make me to know wisdom. We understand that in the wisdom of Solomon, who is the son of David, who is Yahawashai in the reincarnation, is talking about the spirit and the anointing of his father. That's what wisdom is described as, light, but it's talking about the wisdom of his father. And then later we hear that Paul, the apostle, by revelation of Yahawashai has been made wisdom unto us. So wisdom is the face of the Most High. Wisdom is also what makes the face of a man of God's his face to shine, right? That's why Yahawashai's face is so brilliantly bright, because he's full of the wisdom of his Father. And as he was perfected off of the cross, or because of the cross, he has now been made wisdom unto us. That's in 1 Corinthians. So again, you desire to make me know wisdom. And in the hidden parts, thou shalt make me to know Yahawashai. I will know Yahawashai as I am known. Right now, we are all looking through a dim glass. We know partially, but soon we will know as we are known. Look at the next 7 is the blood of Yahawashai. Purge me with hyssop. That's what that means. And I shall be clean. We are only made clean by the life, by the person, by the blood of Yahawashai. Purge me with hyssop, and I shall be clean. Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow. Right? The mountain, Lebanon, whiteness. Make me to hear joy and gladness, and the bones which thou hast broken may rejoice. What is that like? Look, bone came to bone. Ezekiel 37, the valley of dry bones. Doesn't King David write about the valley of the shadow of death? We understand that the valley of the shadow of death is talking about America. The ends of the earth, in the progression of time, in the progression of this symphony that Yahweh has composed and that Yahawashai conducts. And as the elect learn the song, we begin to harp along. We're all learning this composition as Yahawashai gives us understanding through his conducting. We're all playing different parts of it, and it's all coming together. But right here, this Psalms 51 is a cry, an ancient cry, prophetically about the completion, the great labor of the new covenant, which is the new bodies purchased by the blood of Yahawashai, the sweat of his brow. Because even though he was sweating, he was cursed with the sweat of his brow as Adam, he's still sweating, but now he's sweating blood in the Garden of Gethsemane. But what's the sweat about? The great labor that he has to perform on that cross. The ultimate sonship of submitting to the rebuke, the chastisement, the punishment, the death of the cross as the highest exalted son. And him and his blood being poured out, a broken and contrite spirit is acceptable before Yahweh. Yahawashai has poured out his blood. He's even groaning, can this cup pass from me? Nevertheless, he pivots and he spins. He's dancing. I don't want to do this. Nevertheless, he spins and turns around on that wheel. Jeremiah is the house, the potter's house, the potter and the clay. There was a vessel in the hands of Yahweh. This is talking about Yahawashai too. And it was marred, and then he made a new vessel. The marred vessel is Adam. The new vessel, Yahawashai, being made wisdom. You guys have to see it. And him being what? The chief cornerstone of Zion, which are the living stones, the 144,000, they too, as they line up with Yahawashai, the same thing happens with them. They too get chastised. They are broken and contrite. We bleed out in the crucifixion of what? These curses, being underneath Esau, coming into Jacob's trouble. Some of us will ultimately die a martyr's death. Others will get beamed up. Either way, we're conforming into the image of Yahawashai. Create in me a clean heart. Look, hide thy face from my sins and blot out all my name. Look, create in me a clean heart. That's the new covenant. I'm taking out the heart of stone and giving you a heart of flesh. Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew right spirit within me. Cast me not away. This is what eventually happened. We were cast to the four corners of the earth. Cast me not away from thy presence, and take not thy Holy Spirit from me. All of our understanding was taken from us. All the wisdom. And now we're getting it back. That's what the breath was removed from us. We became a valley of dry bones in Mystery Babylon in four corners of the earth. And then when the blood of Yahawashai in the time of the rings, I liken my judgment into a ring. When that ring was fulfilled, Abba Bisbins, the prophet Elijah was sent. Boom. And then the discipleship began to increase and increase. And we're now standing on our feet. Bone coming to bone. Cast me not away. That's what happened. Restore unto me the joy of thy salvation. What is that? The hope of glory. We know that Yahweh B'Hashem Yahshai is coming to destroy Esau, Edom. Then will I teach transgressor thy ways. And now what's happening? Great millstones lifting up their voice daily, and the elect are hearing it. Those are the transgressors. Because we're all sinful, right? We all committed adultery. That's what King David did physically with Bathsheba and Uriah, but we did it as a people, as the comely woman under Yahweh by Yahawashis. Deliver. Look at 14. Now this is going into King David murdering Uriah with the sword of the heathen. But what did we do as a nation? We committed manslaughter by passing the holy seed through the fires of Molech. It's all throughout the scriptures. That was the ultimate act of how we consummated our adultery against Yahweh by sacrificing to those altars of devils, is that we were passing the holy seed through the fire of Molech. Deliver me from blood guiltiness, O God, thou God of my salvation, and my tongue shall sing aloud of thy righteousness. For thou desirest not sacrifice, else would I give it. Thou desirest not in burnt offering. The sacrifices of God are a broken spirit, a broken and a contrite heart. And that's where Yahawashis comes in again. And that's where the example of us falls under. And as we conform ourselves into the image of Yahawashis, we are also poured out before Yahweh, acknowledging what we've done. Just a couple more precepts, and I'm going to be done. Look at that, man. The application, the plant, the herb, right? That was given for the elect, for the priesthood, for the prophets, for Yahawashis to apply his blood on our transgressions, man. Let me salaki you guys. Pretty intense stuff. So look, this is a commandment given to Abraham and his wife, or Yahawashis and the elect. And God blessed them and said, and God said to them, be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth and subdue it, and gave dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the earth, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. Look, and by the sweat of thy face, after the transgression, and the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread till thou return unto the ground. For out of it was thou taken. For dust thou art, and unto dust shalt thou return. Now look, and he was also the same person. I am the first and last, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, as the vessels of potter shall they be broken in shivers. And there's another one that says, he will rule all the nations, even as I received of my Father. So listen, Luke 22:4. And being in agony, he prayed more earnestly, and his sweat was as it were great drops of blood falling down to the ground. Look, he's still laboring. It connects, you guys. In the sweat of thy wisdom. In the sweat of thy wisdom. A man's wisdom causes his face to shine. In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread, till thou return into the ground. For out of it wast thou taken. And what is the earth? It's where you plant, right? Husbandry. What is Israel? We're the planting of righteousness. We're the planting of the Lord. We are his garden. We are the trees he plants, right? Yahawashis being the head one. It's all, and even Yahawashis said, after 3 days I will be perfected. Because he wasn't perfected. He too was in the normal body, right? He went off as Adam. He went off as King Solomon. He didn't go off as in his Yahawashis form, but he still wasn't perfected. So I pray that this is making sense. And then let the multitude perish, which was born in vain, and let my grape be kept in my plant, for with great labor have I perfected it. Again, Yahawashis have sent mine angel to testify unto thee the things that you heard. I am the root and the offspring of David, and the bright and morning star. Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. It all connects. It all connects. Purge me with hyssop, and I shall be clean. Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow. And then look at this one. One more. The potter. This includes Yahawashis. Even though he is our creator, he came and was subject to all this stuff. The potter's house. Look. Then I went down to the potter's house. This is Jeremiah 18:3. And behold, he wrought a work on the wheels. What are the wheels? The hands, the chariots, the cycles. Okay, yes, it's a wheel down here spinning, but what's that a type and shadow of? The earth has a circle, There's an earth, the circle of the earth. Everything is a cycle. You got the right and left hands of Yahweh, and they move on the wheels of fire. There's a lot of stuff in when it comes to rings, and the vessels that he made of clay was marred in the hand of the potter, so he made it again another vessel, as seemed good to the potter to make it. If you go, when Yahawashai says, I shall be perfected, I shall be perfected. He experienced imperfection, even though he was perfect. I shall be perfected. Look at this, man. In the beginning, there was no transgression, but when he came to earth, when he left his father's presence to be Adam and had to receive the breath, he was separated from wisdom. Unlike, that was the first time ever that he was separated from wisdom until he got the download, and then still went off. But before that, he was perfect. It's tripped us to say it like this, but and he said to them, go ye and tell that fox, talking about the Edomite, Herod the king, behold, I cast out devils and I do cures today and tomorrow, and the third day I shall be perfected. Well, if he's the cornerstone and he's the head son, and we are all commanded and ordered and will conform to his image, this precept, this one, he went through this. He was that, he is that son, that first and last son. The story was written by Yahweh for him to be Adam, to be Isaac, to be Malach Tezadok, to be King Solomon, and to become Yahawashai. And then when he returns, what does he say? I will not return as a man, but at one time he was a man. And this is the type of shadow. When I went down to the potter's house, it's talking about Israel. But Yahawashai is a star that rises out of Jacob. Yahawashai is the rock of our salvation. Yahawashai is the cornerstone. He is the elect stone. He's the high priest that wears the 12 stones. He's literally a part of this. He, what is it, in Song of Solomon? He is the choice. She, talking about the fairest among women, which is talking about him, she is the choice of her mother. And all the daughters saw her and rejoiced. It's talking about all the angels, talking about all the elect, right? That Yahawashai, and the mother goes into what? Israel. Jerusalem is the mother of us all. Zion is the mother in 2nd Ezra. And you can even lift it up higher. What is wisdom? Likened unto a mother and a sister. Well, the wisdom of God created creation, and Yahawashai had to step into creation, which then makes that system of creation also Yahawashai's mother. If you can receive it in dark speech. If that makes any sense. I hope I'm not going off. Jeremiah 18:3. I apologize for going off. Jeremiah 18:3. Then I went down to the potter's house, and behold, I pray I'm not bugging out, man. He wrought a work on the wheels. And Yahawashai experienced this as a man. And the vessel that he made, the system for creation, the provision made when all the Elohim were creating was what? We're going to start off subject to vanity. But through the process of the story, through the process of the blood of Yahawashai, specifically only for the Israelites, because reincarnation is real, the vessel that he made of clay, this includes, so Adam was made of clay, right? Adam was Yahawashai, and he failed, even though he was given wisdom. This is the story. So and the vessel that he made of clay was marred. Adam was subject to vanity. Yahawashai was subject to vanity. It's difficult to kind of say, but you have to understand the progression of time. It had to go this way. Okay? This is why also Yahweh, in his wisdom, said, my mercy will never depart from this one. How is he going to? So if you think about all the angels on the left-hand side and all the angels on the right-hand side, they can't sin. Satan can't sin. Asmodeus can't sin. Gabriel and Raphael and Michael Allah can't sin. Yahawashai is the head of all of them. Yet he did as Adam sinned, and he did as King Solomon sinned. So then what's the loophole, so to speak? the grace and mercy of Yahweh. I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom will have compassion. You got to take that precept and put it at the feet of Yahawashai, because it goes to him first. You have to first fruit that to him first, concerning Adam and concerning King Solomon, because we see the mercy of Yahweh through the prophets in the garden, the voice in the garden, when they give him a coat of skin to cover his transgression. He was punished with sweat on his brow, but he was still covered. The serpent wasn't covered. And then when he was prophesied about his birth through King David's loins, it said in the same sentence, if he's sinned, why is it even brought up? Because he's gonna sin. He's gonna go off at the end of his life and erect abominations, but my mercy will not depart from him. That goes to Yahawashai first. And so does this, Jeremiah 18:4. And the vessel, the creature, the everlasting Father, the root and offspring of David, the first and the last, that he made, Yahweh, of clay was marred in the hand of Yahweh the potter. So Yahweh in his wisdom made it again another vessel. He is now highly glorified. He has been made wisdom, and he sits at the right hand, and he is the elect stone that is laid in Mount Zion. The third temple, the bodies of the elect men, as seemed good to the potter to make it. I hope this makes sense. I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh by Hashem Yahawashi, by Hashem Rakakodash, double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone, of whom I learned from, and a shalom to the hopeful elect brothers taking this truth to the four corners of the earth, bidding the elect spirits of Yasharvala and to the marriage supper of the Lamb, who is Yahawashai. This is your brother Radah. Shalom.